Irregular verbs with different forms in the past simple and as past participles. Part 5. Undertake. Undertook. Undertaken. I undertook extra work in order to pay off my debts. She has undertaken to arrange all formalities for the trip to China. The post requires you to undertake a number of duties. Underwrite.
Underwrite.
Underwritten. The two pharmaceutical companies have underwritten the project with a grant of €3 million. Another bank underwrote my loan, not my own bank. You must underwrite this document in front of the notary public. If you can't afford to pay in full for your car, our company can offer you a loan, which we underwrite it with a well-known bank. Undo. Undid. Undone. Despite the turbulence, she undid her seat belt and tried to use the aircraft's toilet. How can you possibly undo all the damage you have done? What is done cannot be undone. Unfreeze. Unfroze. Unfrozen. Derek has just unfrozen the pipe with a blowtorch, so now we have water. The meat wasn't actually fresh but had been unfrozen before use. The bank is refusing to unfreeze assets belonging to customers associated with money laundering. The strong sunlight unfroze the ground later that morning. Wake. Woke. Woken. Wake. Waked. Waked. In American English you can come across waked as the past simple and past participle forms. Could you wake me at 5 tomorrow? I woke up at sunrise. Don't make her angry, she has just woken up. Weave. Wove. Woven. Weave. Weaved. Weaved. The verb weave in the sense of to move along, to sneak through, is regular and takes the form weaved in past simple and past participle. With other meanings it takes the irregular forms wove and woven. For example, she has woven many replica tapestries for refurbished castles. My Uncle Hubert wove the best stories. My grandmother knew how to weave baskets from rushes. My grandmother wove a woolen scarf for me. A bizarre creature weaved between the trees and vanished without trace. Wear. Wore. Worn. She likes to wear her hair up when she's working. She wore a white dress, which I found inappropriate at a funeral. Frank has worn glasses for 40 years. withdraw, withdrew, withdrawn. America has withdrawn its troops from Iraq. I withdrew some money from the ATM. He had to withdraw from the elections due to health problems. Write, wrote, written. Have you ever written a poem? Beethoven wrote 9 complete symphonies. Before starting to write your doctoral dissertation, you have to do a lot of research. Irregular verbs taking the same form in past simple and past participle. Part 1. Abide, abode, abided, abode, abided. Abode, a form used in formal language in the sense of to stay, live in a place. With other meanings, abided is used. He was homeless all his life and abided in an abandoned hut in the woods. The old hermit abided in a cave in the mountains. Sarah considered herself a model citizen who abided by the law at all times. I can't abide people who harm or kill animals. Alight, alighted, alit, alighted, alit, alit. A very rare past simple and past participle form used in British English. A blue dragonfly has alighted on a water lily on the pond. She scattered breadcrumbs and a flock of sparrows instantly alighted on the grass. We alighted from the train at St. Pancras Station. Do not alight while the bus is still in motion. Backslide, backslid, backslid, backslidden. He tried to go straight after leaving prison but quickly backslid after meeting his old gang. Despite rehabilitation, she has recently backslidden, again into abusing alcohol. Liam had promised his wife to never cheat on her again, but backslid after an attractive girl moved in next door. Behold, beheld, beheld. Theseus beheld the flames of the sacred grove and advanced therein. Turning around, I beheld a tall woman dressed in black, staring at me with a murderous look. To look into the eyes of Charles Manson was to behold insanity. Bend, bent, bent. I hurt my arm and now cannot bend it. He has bent so often to pick up litter that he now has a permanent stoop. She bent and heard her knees crack. Beseech, beseeched, besought, beseeched, besought. I beseeched her to forgive me. but she wouldn't relent. I've besought him 3 times not to leave us. If he doesn't get what he wants, he beseeches one until he is blue in the face. Bestrew. Bestrewed. Bestrewed. Bestrewn. Red poppies bestrewed the entire meadow. Multicolored rose petals were bestrewn all over the road to welcome and honor Her Majesty. Though the walls of his mansion appear to be bestrewed with some of the world's most famous paintings, many, in fact, are simply copies. Bind. Bound. Bound. Her hands were bound behind her back and her eyes covered with a blindfold. These 2 tribes not only live at peace, but they are also strongly bound together by the same rituals and beliefs. A bookbinder binds books. Bleed. Bled. Bled. Her cup bled heavily for a long time. He bled to death. Tom is a plumber, so should know how to bleed radiators. My new jeans bled during washing and are now very pale. Breed. Bred. Bred. My grandmother breeds Jack Russell Terriers to sell. His actions have bred a potentially dangerous situation for everyone. Mrs. Taylor is a real countrywoman, born and bred. She would never live in the city. Bring. Brought. Brought. Tell me what brings you here. I've brought back the book I borrowed. Her outlandish designs brought her great fame. The new water park has brought many families to our city. Build. Built. Built. Nobody knows how the pyramids of Giza were actually built. They've built an extension to their house. The city council is planning to build a new school.
Burn. Burnt. Burned. Burnt. Burned. Burn. Burned. Burned.
How did you burn your hand? The entire building burned to the ground in the fire. Oh no, I've burnt the dinner. Buy. Bought. Bought. She's bought an expensive new car. I initially bought his theory, but it was later disproven by another scientist. My mother doesn't buy fruit and vegetables at a supermarket. Can. Could. Could. Can you play chess?
Yes, I can.
You could have warned me that you were coming. Joshua couldn't do anything about it, could he? When she was younger, she could play the drums. Catch. Caught. Caught. Is it still possible to catch the flu after being vaccinated? We've just caught the last train to London. The police caught a burglar last night.